Hi, everybody. Charles Meade back with you, and I'm joined now by fellow Eagle Scout, Scott Green, who Scott wears a lot of different scouting hats, and we're going to talk about a couple of those, starting specifically with your role still as a Cubmaster in Pack 61, and like a lot of packs at this time of year, you've got blue and gold planning, and obviously now there's another wrinkle to have to consider in all this. So
pretty big one.
right. So Scott, kind of touch base with us here on what you guys are trying to do with your blue and gold planning, considering all these strange variables.
Sure. So I'm actually the outgoing Cubmaster. I've served for the last 2 years. My son has already crossed over, but I felt it was important to complete the year and to complete my dedication to the pack in this way. And when we had planned it a couple of months ago, we had put together, we had the boys actually vote on the themes. First time we've done that. Usually we had the bear dens decide on that because they had the cake bake, but we decided to let the boys vote on it, and they voted on A Night at the Movies, and we thought it was kind of neat. And then it came to this time and realized, this is actually a perfect theme. It's something that really blends into what we can do here. So we met for our leadership meeting via Zoom and decided, I was very, very clear with everyone that I thought we needed to continue to do Blue and Gold Banquet in some way. The boys worked really hard all year. They earned their ranks. Scouting is really, really good at making sure that we recognize the work that the Scouts put into it. So, and I keep saying boys, ours is not a mixed troop. We're so large, we only have boys in the troop. I'm sorry, in the pack right now. So we talked this through it, and we generally came up to, yes, we should do it. But then how are we going to do it? Well, obviously we can't get together like we usually do. And even if we did it in mid-May, that's going to be probably too soon to do anything. Generally our Blue and Gold is the first Sunday in May. Early in the afternoon, we have a cake bake associated with it. So we talked through it and came up with, let's do a Zoom one. We can't do it like we normally do for obvious reasons, but we wanted to have the boys involved. So what we came up with is, since we have the Night at the Movies as our theme, first of all, instead of having our cake bake and have a judge cake bake, we're going to have a movie poster competition. So you'd still be doing the same things. Instead of doing it with flour and fondant, you're doing it with a poster or even digitally, however you want to do it. So you pick your movie and you can come up with it that way. And carry on that theme, we're going to have each of the dens do some kind of a skit, and they'll have to come up with it in a very creative way, or whether it would be a movie that they're going to do, whether it's going to be a trailer, something that each den is going to pick a movie. We're going to make sure that no two dens do the same movie. Pick a movie and do some kind of a short film on it. And so once we have those together, we'll start the blue and gold with a flag ceremony. So we'll have a scout doing the Pledge to American flag, Texas flag, and all these things like we normally would have. Probably have a PowerPoint up with the flag in the background, so we actually have the flag there. And then we'll go into showing a video clip for each den. Once we've done that, we'll have the den, I'll introduce the clip. We'll have our den leaders then recognize each of the scouts that have earned their rank. And when we get to each rank, I'll then announce them as our next year's, whatever the rank is. So the Tigers is next year's Wolves, so on and so forth. There's discussion of making me wear a tuxedo, so I'll be the MC here with an envelope and everything. I have a tuxedo, so we'll see what happens on that. And then we're even going to come up with an adult that's with a skit for the adults to do. I have no idea what that one's going to be yet. And then we're going to have, because we're having a Cubmaster next year, we'll recognize all of our adult leaders. And then at that point, we'll also announce who the next leader is going to be. And then after that, I'll give my last Cubmaster minute, and we'll then have closing ceremony. So that's the idea. Sounds simple, and in the best of circumstances, it's not simple, and this is even more difficult. So we're thankful we're Cub Scouts, so we can do our best. And most amongst us are going to be prepared, but the rest of us are going to do our best.
And so it's primarily you guys are doing it through Zoom. You'll have some recorded video segments that you'll pop in and there. And I think the important thing for us to reiterate here that we've talked about in earlier conversations is nothing has to be perfect, and nobody has all the answers, and we're all doing our best here, as stated. So really the important thing is to keep active in the program and keep kids earning advancement, taking part in activities, because ultimately that's what scouting's all about.
Well, one other thing that we're going to do is we're going to record this entire segment and make it available to everyone in the pack. And the thought behind that is, one, it's just neat, but no one has ever, that has been alive in the last 100 years has ever been through anything like this before. And so having a digital keepsake is, I think, is going to be a really, pretty big deal. All these kids are going to remember it anyway, but this is a way to really, really keep in mind exactly what all went into this, and how hard it was, but how great it was to come together in a way that we could.
So the other thing we wanted to touch base on really quickly here is, and you mentioned now that your son has crossed over into Troop 505, and
Right.
I think a lot of attention has been paid to the idea of continuing troop meetings or troop activities. But in your case, your son is a brand new scout. And so in their new scout patrol, which I love the patrol name, Mustache Brigade Patrol.
They decided on the flag yesterday.
That's excellent. But they have been meeting pretty regularly, and you mentioned they've done their meetings by Zoom and already had a virtual patrol camp out.
Yep.
But maybe the most important takeaway out of all that is that last point. And you mentioned that almost all of those scouts, because of this activity, are very close to earning their first rank advancement.
My son, yes. So the last thing my son needed was for them to design a flag, and they've got it. It's not produced yet for obvious reasons, but that'll be produced here by one of the boys here in the next couple of weeks. But they've all agreed on a design. And then they're actually, because it's a mustache brigade, they decided on a mustache. They found one online. It was a mustache with kind of the American flag superimposed on it. It's kind of neat looking. And they also found a pin that's the same thing. So they're actually going to not only have a flag, and of course they've got their mustache brigade patch, but they've got a pin that they can put on their scout hat to mark that they're part of that patrol as well. So I think that was pretty neat. Yeah, and my son actually has, so he had his last requirement last night. So he actually emailed through Scoutbook the Scoutmaster asking for his Scoutmaster conference. So if we had not had, or they, I'm sorry, I'm still trying to come out of den leader mode here. Had they not been committed to this, he would not have been able to finish all those requirements. He'd started them before everything kind of closed down. We had a couple of troop meetings that he's able to go to before we all had the social distance, but they've kept on it. They started the Monday after spring break, actually. So they came back and immediately started having patrol meetings. And so, yeah, so hopefully the next couple days or so, he'll have that virtual meeting with his Scoutmaster, of course, with me there, because we want to follow all BSA rules on having virtual meetings like that. But he's going to be a scout here within the next week or so, which under normal circumstances, it's probably about the right time for him. But under these circumstances, it's pretty darn amazing that he's been able to do that.
That's fantastic. Well, we want to make sure that everybody, if you have, you've heard some of these ideas and you want to try to do virtual meetings, but you're not quite sure how to do it, we have a couple of resources here on the Council's website. And if you visit the homepage at bsacac.org, you'll find this coronavirus updates call out here. And you click that, and it'll take you to the main page for all of our updates regarding COVID-19. And if you scroll down just a little bit under the council unit district meetings and activities, and this video conferencing resources, lots of tips and walkthroughs on how you can conduct a Zoom video conference, or if Zoom's not your thing, then Google Hangouts, Skype, whatever the case may be. We've got some tools there that can help you make this happen. But at the end of it all, that story you heard there from Scott, his son is able to stay active along with all the other members of his patrol in scouting, and they're earning rank and continuing in the program. And that's what we hope that everybody will take out of this.
They're already planning, I'm sorry if I mentioned, they're already planning the next activity, which is going to be a Lego challenge.
Yeah, and well, and another example there where there are things that kids can be doing in the program. We just have to, uh, especially at the Scouts BSA level, you're relying on the leadership by the youth and their ideas and their input.
Well, and one thing I didn't mention to you earlier, as Cubmaster, I've challenged our entire pack to earn the PALA Presidential Physical Fitness Award. Some things you can certainly do with your family. It takes, you have to do, for scouts or for youth, you have to have an hour's worth of physical activity 5 days a week. There's a healthy eating component as well every week. And you can do it 6 out of 8 weeks, you've earned that award. And my son and I did that 2 or 3 years ago, along with my daughter, and we're doing it again this time.
Excellent. Well, Scott, thank you so much for your time. And everybody, we hope that you'll be able to take some of these ideas, or at least inspiration, and use it as you continue to scout at home. Thanks again, Scott.
Thank you.